Hello there. I'm back, Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars, and let's talk about the new moon in November. So this beautiful new moon will be happening at 28 degrees in Scorpio between the 19th and the 20th of November. Depends where you are in the world. And what we have is very special here with this new moon. There are many grand configurations in the sky, and it looks really beautiful in the chart as well. So there's a huge emphasis in water, in the water element, and there's a lot more. I mean, there's a lot more that I will be sharing with you here, including, as usual, the Sabian symbol for this particular degree of Scorpio, and the tarot cards, as well as all of those different aspects. So let's dive in. Let's talk about the Sabian symbol first. Now, again, this is that stage of the lunar cycle which is associated with beginnings. So new beginnings, fresh start, renewal, regeneration in particular, because it's emphasized times 2 on steroids, because that's in Scorpio, right? We have this new moon happening in Scorpio, which is about transformation, regeneration, new beginnings, death, rebirth, etc. So we have that times 2 during this cycle. But let's have a look at the Sabian symbol and what that can tell us about this new moon. So the Sabian symbol for 28 degrees is Scorpio, is an Indian woman pleading to the chief for the lives of her children. So here we have an Indian woman pleading to the chief for the lives of her children. Now there are a couple of things that this Sabian symbol kind of spoke to me, which maybe we can associate with the imagery and the feeling, the theme of this new moon, which is, on one hand, we have community roles. You know, we have an authority, we have the chief, we have the Indian woman pleading to her children. So obviously she's also playing the mother archetype here. So we have these roles, but we also have the instincts and breaking the rules, because obviously if she's pleading the lives of her children, they must have done something, right? They must have broken some sort of rules, because the chief represents the authority, represents a Saturnian figure here. He is the one responsible to keep the rules, to keep things going, to keep everything away from chaos, right? The rules, the regulations, the barriers and boundaries of that particular community. The Indian woman represents the mother archetype here. Compassion, forgiveness, kindness, self-care as well, perhaps, or caring for others as well. But the children has definitely done some shenanigans, and they do represent breaking some of the rules. And I think knowing the right measure between these 3 flavors of the Sabian symbol will be important for this new lunar cycle. And I'll tell you why. I mean, this is definitely represented here by all these aspects, all these beautiful aspects that the new moon is forming. So what we have, as I'm looking at the chart, we have a beautiful grand trine. First of all, there's a beautiful blue triangle in the middle of the chart. Like I said, there's a huge emphasis in the water element. We have Jupiter in Cancer, we have Neptune, Saturn, the North Node in Pisces. And then we have Venus, Moon, Sun, and Mercury, all in Scorpio. So there's a lot of water here, apart from Mars in Sagittarius, Pluto in Aquarius, and Chiron in Aries as well. Those are the planets that are in the more extroverted yang kind of sign of the zodiac. Uranus is already back to Taurus. So we have Uranus at 29 degrees Taurus here. So there's a lot of emphasis in the emotional inner life, emotional security, emotional connections, and, in a way, material as well, because we have that Uranus in Taurus. So there's this beautiful blue triangle that the new moon is forming, and is a perfect triple conjunction here between moon, sun, and Mercury. So our minds, our ideas are definitely catching up with what we need to set intentions for. All right? They are very, very, very together at that degree. And then they're forming a trine to Jupiter at 25 Cancer, and a trine to Neptune at 29 Pisces, and Saturn at 25 Pisces. So there's a beautiful grand trine here. Now, the grand trine, obviously, as I spoke to you before about that, we see, as Bernadette Brady so beautifully defined it in her book about forecasting, trines can be associated with removal of obstacles. So there is a big removal of obstacle here on healing, integrating, regenerating, understanding our emotions, embracing our emotions, again, healing our emotions or our emotional connections, our ability to be vulnerable potentially as well, understanding. So there's a lot of intentions that we can set connected to those topics. Within that grand trine, we also have a very strong opposition between the new moon, so the sun, moon, Mercury at 28 Scorpio, and Uranus at 29 Taurus. Now, Uranus is the planet of rebellion, and I think this configuration is so interesting because with the grand trine that I just mentioned, we've got Saturn involved, which I associate with authorities, and Jupiter in Cancer, which I would associate with that mother figure of the Sabian symbol. And Uranus forming an opposition here is the shenanigans, is the breaking of the rules, is the, doing your own way, doing your own thing, refusing to follow the beaten track, finding your own unique way of doing things. And sometimes the rebelliousness can be a little bit unfunded, like just, like a teenage just trying to do the opposite just because, which could be the children breaking the rules, perhaps a little bit of an immaturity there as well. But on the more elevated potential here, Uranus is really asking us to do our own thing, to find our own style, right? Also, the opposition with the new moon could be seeds that will also cut things off, things that don't work for us anymore. I think with the revelations that we've had with the new moon, we could be cutting off things that we understood they are being a hindrance rather than a true security in a situation, because again, Uranus is in Taurus here. But that opposition is really talking about letting go of something that does not serve us anymore. And the emphasis in Scorpio is also talking about that. Remember, the card associated with Scorpio is the Death card in the Major Arcana. No more need to say, right? This new moon carries that energy and that signature of the Death card. And in the minor arcanas, we've got the 5, 6, and 7 of cups. So the 5, again, a journey, like the journey with Taurus. We have the loss and the grief with the 5 of cups. So something that really needs to go, something that really, really is ripe and is ready, and we need to let it go. With the 6 of cups, there's a potential for healing, for exchanging, for, childhood memories or a connection with someone that can help us. And the 7 of cups is opening the doors, opening the potentials, dreaming, daydreaming. The grand trine in water is definitely reflecting a lot of potential for dreaming with that Jupiter, for doing that vision board, thinking big, seeing the bigger picture with Jupiter, but also making it happen with that Saturn. And even the Saturn-Neptune being close to each other. It's like manifesting the dream, bringing into reality, bringing to fruition. But we're going to have to do it our own way. Another layer. There are 2 more layers I want to talk about with this new moon. One layer is that the ruler of that stellium in Scorpio, the modern ruler, the traditional ruler, is Mars. And he takes us to that Mars in Sagittarius. So it's telling us to do things that we actually deeply, deeply care about, that we really feel connected to in, that's meaningful to us. What's meaningful to us? This is very important to keep track of, right? Meaning, being philosophical about asking the bigger questions. That's all like that Mars in Sagittarius kind of underneath all of the Scorpio. At the end of the day, the death, the rebirth, the regeneration has something to do with finding meaning in our lives again and aligning ourselves with that meaning, aligning our actions with that meaning, with that sense of meaning and purpose. And the other thing that I really want to say, obviously here Mercury is already retrograde, has already gone back to Scorpio, but the general gist of this new moon, and being so late in the year as well, the 20th of November, we've got very little of 2025 here to work with, is that there's a big invitation here to revisit, to resolve something that's coming back to us. It's like the return of something unresolved. I get this vibe here. Because Uranus is back in Taurus for one last time. And Saturn is back in Pisces for one last time. And so is Neptune, back in Pisces for one last time. It's like, go back to something. Deal with that something again. Resolve it before you can move on. Understand it, integrate it, heal it before you can move on. Right? And we have a great number of retrogrades as well. We have Mercury retrograde, we have Jupiter, Uranus, Chiron, Neptune, Saturn, all of them retrograde. So really is about setting intentions here that has to do with understanding and resolving something that's coming back to us, resolving something from the past. All right? So that's it. Very, very powerful new moon connected to every single outer planet here, including a sextile to Pluto. So very transformative. So I hope this is being helpful, and I'm wishing you guys a wonderful, beautiful new moon, new beginning, new understanding to get ready for the next year. And I will speak to you all soon. So take care. Bye-bye now.